We've been working with lawmakers across the Northeast and in other states in the country to close the carried interest loophole and bring that revenue back for public schools, for infrastructure, for health care, for needs in the states. Currently, this legislation is introduced in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, and Illinois. We're expecting it will be introduced in more states. And here in Rhode Island, the first guy that asked to jump in and get it moving in our state was State Representative Aaron Reenberg.
Thank you, Mike. I'm here today because I'm really tired. I'm tired of hearing again and again, inside this building and outside of it, that we don't have the money. And we hear it as legislators all the time. You know, it's too bad our kids have to go to school every day in buildings that are literally falling apart around their heads, but we don't have the money. It's too bad that our elderly and disabled neighbors are no longer getting support for bus passes, but we don't have the money. You know, it'd be great. We'd love to be able to invest in community health centers, but sorry, we don't have the money. And we're here today together because we know that the reality is we do have the money to strengthen our neighborhoods, to support our young people, to make the investments in education, in transportation, in infrastructure that are necessary to build a strong economy from the ground up. We just keep getting suckered into not collecting it. And there is no better embodiment of that principle than the carried interest loophole. Now, personally, I really wish, I know this is the name, but I wish we had a better, different term, because every time I hear carried interest loophole, my eyes kind of glaze over, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I think it makes sense to try to put this in the most simple possible terms. Right now, our tax policy for hedge fund managers is messed up. We tax millionaires and billionaires, like the folks who may very well have hosted Paul Ryan here the other week, at a lower rate for investing other people's money than we tax kindergarten teachers for taking care of our children, or construction workers for building our houses, or nurses for caring for our neighbors. Now, we know that the vast majority of new income is going to the top 1%, and we know that the vast majority of wealth has been accumulated in the top 1%. So it is true, as long as our policy is to tax those millionaires and billionaires at a fraction of the rate that we tax our firefighters and our custodians, well then, you're right, no, we're not going to have the money we need to make the most basic investments in improving our communities. But that is not good policy, and it's not good morality. You cannot tell me that we can't afford to give a Medicaid raise to the CNAs who are working like saints to take care of our elders at $10 an hour, when we have a system that is allowing millionaires and billionaires to skate in a way that many millionaires and billionaires themselves have admitted is grossly unfair. It's time to right this wrong, and the reality is the only way we can make this change right now is through action at the state level. As my colleague said, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton both agreed during their campaigns that the carried interest loophole needs to go. But we can see now, like so many of Trump's promises, that his commitment on that was a big con job. President Trump has stacked his administration with more Wall Street insiders and hedge fund billionaires than we've seen in DC since before the Great Depression. That is why we have decided to put forward state legislation alongside our colleagues and counterparts in states across the Northeast to do what states were constitutionally designed to do, to be laboratories of democracy, to lead and set an example on behalf of our people. So that's why we're here today. Thank you.